Go Phangan, known for its stunning beaches and the famous full moon party, seems like the ultimate vacation spot. But imagine trading those tropical vibes for a chilling crime scene. That's exactly what happened when YouTuber Daniel Sancho Brancalo invited his boyfriend Edwin for a getaway on this paradise island. What was meant to be a dreamy escape quickly turned into a nightmare that shocked everyone. Edwin's vacation took a deadly turn, and as the sun rose and revelers awoke, the island was hit with a horrifying discovery: packages of human remains scattered across the beaches. The seemingly perfect paradise had become the site of a shocking murder. So, who is Daniel Sancho? What led to this horrific event? And how did a romantic getaway turn into a crime scene? Join us as we dive deep into this tragic case and uncover the events that led to this dreadful tragedy. August 3rd, 2023 started like any other day on Go Phangan. It was a Thursday, and the island was waking up as usual. Some people grabbed their morning coffee, others nursed hangovers from the night before, and the weather was just as you'd expect in paradise, sunny and pleasant. But for some, this ordinary day would soon take a dark turn. Around 12:30 p.m., a garbage collector on his routine rounds at the local landfill stumbled upon something unsettling. As he sorted through the trash, he noticed a suspicious bag that didn't quite fit in. It was an unusual fertilizer bag, and inside was something that looked like wet, rotting material. Something didn't seem right. Curious, yet cautious, the collector took a closer look, and his heart sank. The bag held parts of a human body. Terrified and shocked, he immediately called the authorities. Soon after, officers arrived at the scene and discovered that the bag contained a human pelvis and intestines. It was a horrifying find, and the grim reality of the situation set in. This wasn't just any trash, but evidence of a brutal crime. As the day progressed, more body parts were found scattered across the island. Locals discovered a total of 14 bags in various locations. The distance and variety of these discoveries made it unclear whether they were dealing with one victim or multiple. Sadly, the police were now faced with the grim possibility of a murder involving a tourist. The investigation intensified. Officers continued searching the landfill and found another bag containing human legs and some clothing. From these findings, they estimated the murder had occurred about 36 hours earlier, based on the state of decomposition. DNA testing later confirmed that the dismembered body belonged to a man named Edwin Artiga. But who was Edwin? Why was he killed and dismembered? And where was the rest of his body? The answers to these questions would take time to unravel. But one thing was clear: Go Phangan's idyllic image had been shattered by a crime that shocked everyone. Edwin Artiga was born in Santa Cruz de Lisa, a town in the Cordoba region of northern Colombia. Raised by loving parents, Edwin had a secure and supportive upbringing. His father was a mechanic who repaired radios and televisions, while his mother was a retired school teacher. Both were respected in their community for their dedication and hard work. Although Edwin's parents lived apart, his mother often visited him and his father until her passing at the age of 44. With a strong desire to become a surgeon and work abroad, Edwin threw himself into his studies. He excelled in medical school and, after graduating, moved to Monteria to begin his career as a plastic surgeon. Over the next decade, Edwin performed hundreds of cosmetic surgeries. His skill and reputation grew, eventually earning him membership in the Colombian Society of Aesthetic and Reconstructive Plastic Surgery, an esteemed international organization. Edwin also built a significant following on social media, amassing over 35,000 followers on his personal and business Instagram profiles. His work gained recognition both locally and internationally. In December 2022, Edwin's life took an unexpected turn when he connected with Daniel Sancho through Instagram. Daniel, nearly 20 years younger than Edwin, caught his eye with his charm and striking appearance. They began chatting frequently, and their conversations soon evolved into a romantic relationship. As their bond deepened, they exchanged explicit photos and messages. Edwin's feelings for Daniel grew stronger, and he started to support Daniel financially, giving him a credit card and even investing over $10,000 in Daniel's restaurant venture. As Edwin dreamed of a future together, he envisioned opening clinics in Barcelona and Madrid, where they could live and work side by side. But before taking any big steps, Daniel invited Edwin to Thailand for a getaway. Edwin, who loved traveling and had the means to do so, eagerly accepted the invitation. Thailand seemed like the perfect spot for a secret vacation away from their busy lives. On August 1st, 2023, Edwin arrived on Koh Phangan, where Daniel had already been for a day. Daniel picked Edwin up from the airport on his motorcycle, and they headed to Had Salad Villa Resort to stay in a bungalow. Before we delve deeper into their story, it's important to understand more about Daniel Sancho. Unlike Edwin, Daniel wasn't an ordinary person. He had his own share of fame and public recognition, which would become crucial as we uncover the rest of this tragic tale. Daniel Sancho Broncalo, born on June 11, 1994, is the son of famous Spanish actors Rodolfo Sancho and Silvia Broncalo. His parents met in acting classes when they were just 19 and 18 years old, and Daniel was born soon after. The couple stayed together for about 10 years before parting ways amicably. After the split, Daniel lived with his father. He also has a sister named Jimena, who shares the same father but has a different mother, the renowned actress Xenia Tostado. Adding to the family's acting legacy, Daniel's grandfather, Sancho Gracia, was also a well-known Spanish actor. Growing up in such a star-studded family, Daniel enjoyed a comfortable and privileged lifestyle. As a child, he was active and happy, engaging in sports like tennis and surfing. Despite his family's fame in the acting world, Daniel chose a different path, pursuing a career in the culinary arts. He worked for an upscale catering company called Labim. Although he found success in his culinary career, his earnings were modest compared to his family's wealth. Living off his family's affluence, Daniel was no stranger to luxury. He enjoyed fine dining, private jets, and lavish travel, frequently sharing his love for gastronomy, surfing, and travel on social media. However, despite his high-end lifestyle and the polished content of his social media posts, Daniel didn't attract much media attention. Even his YouTube cooking videos failed to gain the popularity one might expect from someone with his background. Daniel had a passion for travel, and Thailand was one of his favorite destinations, known for its vibrant nightlife, incredible food, and excellent surfing spots. It was a natural choice for him to invite Edwin to join him in exploring this beautiful country. Daniel arrived in Koh Phangan on Monday, July 31st, 2023. Edwin joined him the next day, and the two planned to join their time together on the island. As the days passed, Edwin's family grew concerned. They hadn't heard from him since he arrived on the island, which was unusual. Edwin was known for keeping in touch regularly, and his sudden silence was out of character. This growing concern marked the beginning of a troubling and tragic turn of events. After Edwin arrived in Thailand, his sister grew worried when he failed to contact her. She reached out to Daniel Sancho Broncalo on Instagram, urging him to report Edwin as missing. Although Daniel was reluctant, he eventually went to the police station. Little did he know, parts of Edwin's body were already being discovered around the island. At the police station, officers noticed scratches and cuts on Daniel's body. This raised suspicions, leading them to detain him while they investigated his bungalow. At first glance, the bungalow seemed spotless. The bathroom, kitchen, and bedroom were all immaculately clean. But forensic officers found disturbing evidence in the drains: human hair and a substance that looked like body tissue. DNA tests later confirmed their worst fears. Someone had suffered greatly in that bungalow. While the investigation was underway, Daniel was questioned at the station. Initially, he denied any involvement in Edwin's disappearance. But once confronted with the evidence, his story changed dramatically. Daniel explained that their holiday had started well. They arrived on the island and decided to skip the nightlife and celebrations. However, tensions quickly flared. Daniel claimed that Edwin had become too demanding for physical affection and even harassed him for sex. Their argument turned physical, with Daniel pushing Edwin into the bathroom. Edwin hit his head and fell unconscious. In a panic, Daniel tried to wake Edwin by pouring water on him. When that didn't work, he claimed he stabbed Edwin twice in the chest and then cut his throat. It's hard to understand why Daniel thought this was a reasonable response. After the murder, he dismembered Edwin's body into 14 pieces and began disposing of them around the island. Over the next 24 hours, Daniel scattered Edwin's body parts. Some were thrown into the ocean after Daniel rented a kayak. Receipts from the rental store confirmed that Daniel, visibly agitated, offered $1,000 to rent the kayak after being told he couldn't get one so late in the day. It's important to note that Edwin's murder occurred on the first day of his arrival. Daniel used Edwin's suitcase to transport body parts to the sea, then returned to his bungalow and slept with some of Edwin's remains still in the room. The next morning, Daniel continued his inhuman task. He dropped various body parts in different locations around the island before checking out of the villa on August 3rd. And just minutes later, the first body parts were discovered. When questioned about his relationship with Edwin, Daniel's response was unexpected. Although he admitted to the murder, he denied having any romantic or sexual relationship with Edwin. According to Daniel, he was a victim of Edwin's obsession. Daniel claimed Edwin deceived him into believing that they were going to discuss a business deal. Instead, Edwin wanted Daniel to be his boyfriend. Daniel said Edwin had threatened him and blackmailed him whenever he tried to end their contract. He also mentioned that Edwin's threats included killing or blackmailing him if he tried to break up. Daniel had planned to marry a Spanish woman, which supposedly angered Edwin. This led to their violent confrontation and Edwin's death. Even though Daniel Sancho confessed to killing Edwin Arrieta, the investigation revealed some surprising evidence. Surveillance footage showed that before Edwin arrived, Daniel bought a range of cleaning supplies, including knives, detergent, and other items from a supermarket. This contradicts Daniel's claim that the murder was spontaneous. After Daniel's confession, he was arrested in August 2023 and awaited trial. The prosecution team had until the end of October 2023 to complete their investigation and build their case. Daniel's family hired a high-profile lawyer, Marcos Garcia Montes, to defend him. With such a prominent lawyer, the outcome of the trial was uncertain, but justice seemed to be on the way. The trial began on April 9, 2024, at a court in Thailand. Juan Gonzalo Aspina Serrano, who represents Arrieta's family, expressed trust in the Thai legal system. They are grateful and hope that the Thai law is forceful and that the truth can be told, he said. Daniel faced a number of charges, including premeditated murder, concealment of a body, as well as damaging documents. The document-related charge involved the alleged destruction of Arrieta's passport. While Daniel pleaded not guilty to premeditated murder and document destruction, he did admit to hiding the victim's body. Now, it's important to note that the charge of premeditated murder could have led to the death penalty, while damaging documents could result in up to 5 years in prison and a fine. Speaking of which, concealing a body could bring a 1-year prison term and a fine. So, what was the outcome? The trial opened with statements from witnesses presented by the plaintiff, according to Apachart Srinul, Sancho's Thai lawyer. When asked about his confidence in the defense, Apachart said that it would depend on the evidence and witness testimonies. Sancho was driven to court in a closed car and was not visible to reporters. His father, Spanish actor Rodolfo Sancho, was also present, but chose not to comment. During the trial, Daniel argued that he acted in self-defense. He claimed the murder was not planned, but rather a reaction to a situation that spiraled out of control. Thai media reported on this defense, but his lawyer chose to not comment further. On August 29, 2024, the court in Koh Samui found Daniel guilty of murdering Edwin, dismembering his body, and disposing of the remains. Initially, Daniel was sentenced to death, but after considering his testimony during cross-examination, the court reduced his sentence to life imprisonment. In addition to the life sentence, Daniel was ordered to pay Edwin's family 4.42 million baht, approximately $130,230 in compensation. This amount is meant to assist the family with their loss and related expenses. The Associated Press reported that the prosecution used surveillance footage as key evidence. The video showed Daniel buying a knife, rubber gloves, garbage bags, and cleaning solutions before Edwin's death. This evidence supported the premeditated murder charge. In his closing remarks, Daniel expressed regret. He said, "I am sorry that a life has been lost and that parents have lost a son. I am sorry that his family was not able to bury him properly. I'm sorry for what I did after the death." His parents were present in court to hear the verdict. And so, in the end, Daniel will spend the rest of his life in prison and will also pay the amount to Edwin's family. Juan Gonzalo Ospina, the Arrieta family lawyer, plans to start proceedings to ensure that any money Daniel receives in prison is seized to cover this compensation, but he doubts Daniel has the funds to pay. Busakorn Kulil, a lawyer for the victim's family, said they were satisfied with the outcome. "The plaintiff is satisfied with the sentence because he will be put in prison for life, and they received some financial compensation," Busakorn told reporters. She also said that both sides have the right to appeal under Thai law. When asked about Sancho's reaction, she said, "He is sad, but we can't forget the loss of the dead one." This was the tragic case of Edwin Arrieta, who was brutally murdered by Daniel Sancho. While the court's verdict and the financial compensation for the family offer some sense of resolution, it cannot replace the loss of their beloved son. What are your thoughts on this case? Do you think Daniel Sancho's defense team will appeal the verdict? Or is this truly the end of this tragic chapter? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more cases. See you in the next video.